Yo, what's going on, people? It's your boy Logic. Welcome back to yet another video. And I'm filming this video because earlier today I had a moment of meditation and it was really deep. And I had a moment where I was able to connect so many things together, and I just felt so inspired to make a video sharing everything, all of the thoughts that I had with you guys. I essentially want to connect plants, my faith, and what plants just teach me overall about death and failure. Now I know those words are like, ooh, those are heavy words, especially for the content of this channel, but there's such a huge connection between everything. Now behind me I have what you may be paying special attention to, this plant, and it looks like just a bunch of dead twigs on first glance. This is my weeping fig, and you may be like, yeah right, this is what was left of your weeping fig, but no, it's my weeping fig. And I showed you guys the video of the weeping fig maybe about a year ago, talking about how sassy it was and how you generally don't want to move it from a spot or disturb it, because if you do, this plant is so sensitive and so, like, you know, in its place and firm, and like, I want to be right here. If you change anything major about the plant or its environment, it will drop leaves like its life depended on it, literally. Now, equipped with that knowledge, obviously I wasn't out here trying to move it or disturb it or put it into shock. I would just keep it nice and consistent, keeping the environment, keeping its pot, keeping everything really the same. The only real thing that I changed is that I repotted it from the last video into this terracotta pot, because I realized that it was definitely time to repot the plant. But that was months ago, and I promise you nothing showed any signs of what would happen soon. The plant looked fine. In fact, it was even larger than ever before, and I was really happy with the amount of new growth that was coming in. It was really shooting out, and you know, it made me a proud plant parent to be able to own a weeping fig and really take care of it and not have it drop its leaves on me. But then one day, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I started noticing a few leaves dropping, and I thought, you know, it's bound to happen. Every plant is gonna drop leaves. Every plant is gonna have a dying leaf. Doesn't matter how good you are, every plant is gonna drop a leaf eventually. But then I started to notice more leaves dropping, and then one day I woke up and my plant looked dead. It looked like that, and I was just in shock. I was like, what am I doing right now? What am I doing that's killing this plant? Because I feel like I'm killing the plant. I'm not changing anything, right? I'm making sure that everything is consistent. What am I doing so wrong? And so I took the plant, I kind of, like, you know, shook it very gently to see what was really the status of the leaves, and all the leaves dropped. They were essentially hanging by a thread, and I found out that the hard way, and I ended up with this very bare looking plant. And I mean, first instinct is to think, wow, I killed it. There's nothing we can do about it. But I've been on this road before. During my freshman year of college, I really engrossed myself in the plant hobby. So plants for me have always been a very great source of help when it comes to my mental health and my mental wellness. And I really learned that in my freshman year of college, which was very stressful for me. It was the first time where I was living away from my parents so far. It was back when I was living in Appleton, Wisconsin, which from New York City is literally almost 1,000 miles away. And there were a lot of difficulties that I faced in that first semester of my freshman year. But the consistent thing that applied was the fact that my plants, they kept me happy. Taking care of my plants, seeing them thrive, it was such an amazing thing for me. However, when I came back from my second semester and I picked them up from the plant sitter, I started to notice that within a week, these plants just spontaneously died. And I was really shook as to what was happening, because it felt as if I touched the plant and everything kind of just went to nothing. Like, it turned to dust. The leaves started to kind of rot away, wilt. I started noticing a lot of issues with the plants, and they were just unsalvageable. I wasn't able to save any of the branches that existed, right? Now, this is where the lesson comes in. I had no other option with the plant but to cut off the dying parts. Essentially, all I had left were little nubs, little stubs that I had cut on top of the surface of the soil. But I knew that if there was any way of saving these plants, that was really the only way. Cut off the dying parts, because they no longer serve the plant as a whole. But by the end of the spring term, 10 weeks later, I was dealing with an entirely different set of plants. My peace lily had gone out of control, my ZZ plant was back in action, stronger than ever, and my golden pothos was looking luscious, beautiful. That was a very proud moment for me, where I was able to see the work that I put in and the sacrifice that I made in order to save the whole. Because if you have a dying plant, you're gonna wanna make a sacrifice. Maybe it's putting in a little bit more work to save it. Or maybe it's cutting off those branches that just took so long to develop. And you're like, no, I really don't want to. Like, I just got these beautiful leaves. I don't wanna cut them off. Sometimes you have to. And so we go back to the conversation of the weeping fig. I intentionally kept the camera a little bit zoomed out of the plant so that, I mean, unless you're endowed with some like really awesome eyes for detail, you can't really see what is going on with these plants. So like I said before, what you guys may be seeing upon first glance is just a dead plant, just a bunch of branches. But I want to go ahead and zoom in just a little bit. Those leaves were not there before. When the plant was dying, all the leaves dropped. There was nothing left, just a bare plant, a bare weeping fig. Just a bunch of branches, look dry, look like you can toss them out. It's done, right?
No way, not this time.
New life here, new life here, life coming out here, life coming out here. You have a shoot here, another shoot coming out on top, and the same thing applies for the rest of the plant. If you don't believe me, we have another shoot emerging here on another branch, another one here below, another shoot here, a bunch of new baby leaves on this branch here.
You get the idea.
So I spoke a lot about dying plants, right? What does that have to do with anything? Plants for me have always been teachers. They've always taught me about different ways that I can integrate plant care into my own personal life. Sometimes, in order to save yourself, you have to cut off a piece of yourself that is dying. Now you may ask yourself what exactly that means.
What the f does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
You're welcome.
What the f is he talking about?
But what I'm trying to say with all of that is that if you have a toxic part of your life, or if you have a piece of yourself that you just don't want to let go of, but it's holding you back, is weighing you down from your full potential, if there is a relationship that you need to cut off today, do it. Because it's going to be the only way that you can save the whole. The whole being yourself. It's going to be painful. Sometimes we spend a lot of time on something only to have to cut back on it. Either a little bit or pruning it off completely. But what can plants teach us? Plants teach us that once we do this, we reach new levels of our life. The weight that was holding us down is lifted, and this lifted weight leads to a beautiful transformation within your life. In my life, plants have just been such a beautiful tool for my mental wellness and for my learning, for my growth. Becoming a man.
I am a man.
And so I just want to end the video with a small little meditation. And I want for you to meditate on these words for the rest of the day. I recognize that in my life, there will be death, there will be failure. I recognize that these are inevitable pieces of the human experience. In this process of dying, there will be a little bit of pain, discomfort, maybe even sadness. Maybe even grieving and mourning. I recognize that these are all necessary components to rebirth and to regeneration. Things in nature have to die so that they can come back stronger than before. They need to enter a state of dormancy so that when they wake up, they have the energy that it takes to reach new heights and elevations. I want to be okay with the pieces of my own being that fall off. And I want to be okay with the pieces of my own being that no longer serve me and that I have to cut off. Because I know that at the end of the tunnel, there will be light, and that light will be glorious, and I will not have the weight on my shoulders holding me back from getting to that other side of the tunnel. I hope that you guys can meditate on those words because I feel like it is a very powerful lesson. I really wanted to share this breakthrough with you guys because it's been something that's been heavy on my mind for a while, and I feel a little bit emotional saying it right now, but I really do thank God for placing plants in my life because within my own life, mental health has always been a struggle of mine. And I'm literally crying right now saying this, but God is so beautiful in His plans and in His intention for us. His plans are always greater than our plans for ourselves, and that is something that I'm trying to continue embracing in new ways, and I'm trying to take it in and really understand that His plan is better than my plan. And when certain aspects of my life die or no longer serve me, and He encourages me and He shows me that I need to cut it off, or He cuts it off for me, I want to be more happy because I know that what He's doing is not here to harm me, but I know that what He's doing is here to make me stronger, here to make me a better person, a better man, and a better child of God. I want to leave the video there because I really want to wipe my eyes right now. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that it's of service to you. Until next time, peace.